Tell me a little bit about the migrant family. What is a migrant family?
Well, a migrant family is a family of individuals who move through various states following various kinds of employment for a livelihood. In our particular program, we cater to migrants that follow the agricultural industry, that move from state to state, usually following the harvesting season of various kinds of fruits and vegetables that are a little difficult to harvest by mechanical devices. We still have some left that has to be harvested by hand. The migrant caters mostly to those particular crops.
How many migrant workers go through the state every year?
Approximately around 2,000 migrant workers come through the state that require services from our agency.
Where do they come from and what do they do in Alabama?
Okay, basically they are coming from Florida. What they do is they usually come in around the first, middle of May, and they are in the area from, I guess, around the middle of September. What they do is they pick potatoes, cucumbers, pimento peppers, pecans. Most of the vegetables are crops that mechanization cannot harvest for them. And many of the migrants that do come through also can operate some of the heavy equipment that is needed for harvesting the crop.
What type of pay and what type of conditions the migrant workers have to themselves to?
All right. The conditions are, many of them live on the farms that they work. And some of the conditions are deplorable conditions on some unsubsidized housing areas. And as far as the pay is concerned, we really have no track record of their pay. But many of them, I would say, receive a minimum of $2.20 an hour, if that much. However, they do not see the total amount of income that they receive because it is usually handled through the crew leader. And the crew leader is responsible most of the time for bringing the migrants or either employing them for a farm worker in a particular area.
How big of a cut does the crew leader get?
I would imagine somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30% cut per family or either per individual.
Well, the housing is, I guess, a very poorly constructed type of frame dwelling usually that is provided by the farm owner that they work for. And usually it's fairly inadequate so far as space is concerned, and the type of structure itself is not really, I would say, fit for human dwelling, but it's the best they can do. They have to put up with it. Space is not near large enough, and the facility itself is don't have the resources and the type of equipment that you would think a family would need to for normal survival.
Any type of running water, toilet facility?
Usually the living quarters are constructed where 10 or more families can live pretty close together under one roof, and they provide water where it can be accessible to all families, which means it has to be on the outside of the building where everybody has access to it. And this is a faucet just come up out of the ground that you can turn on and off to get water. And the same thing for the toilet facilities. In order to accommodate as many people as you can with the least amount of facility, the toilet buildings are on the outside where the various families can come and utilize these facilities.
Are there any type of regulations, state or federal, regulating the type of housing that can go over a migrant or seasonal worker's head?
Well, there is a regulations, but the point is having these regulations enforced, and for various reasons, it's very easy for the farm owner to violate these policies because nobody really seems to be trying to make sure that the minimum requirements are met.
What kind of problem does the migrant worker have?
Well, you have language problems. Some of them have problems trying to speak English. Some of them can speak very little, no English at all. They have problems with the law enforcement because a lot of our migrants come in and out that are not legal people who are legally authorized to be in the States. So they have to put up with whatever conditions that we impose upon them because they cannot seek protection from the law because, number one, afraid of being thrown out of the state. They have no business here at all. And for various reasons, they have to put up with whatever conditions that is imposed upon them. And in many instances, that people take advantage of that situation.
What does your office do for the migrant workers?
Okay, basically our office we try to at least provide an alternative for the migrants while they at least get them out of the migrant stream. What we try to do is allow them to enroll in vocational settings to develop some skill, or either, if not in a vocational setting, we either provide them with emergency assistance if they are en route from one area to another in the form of emergency food, travel, or medical services. And in addition, we also try to help them to relocate if they want to relocate out of the migrant stream. We try to provide them at least with some good housing conditions so that their family could relocate in the area, not particularly in Montgomery, but in any portion of the state of Alabama.
Have there been any that have wanted to settle down in Montgomery, and then how successful have you been?
All right. Recently, we have had, to my knowledge, one family this year that has wanted to relocate out of the migrant stream, and we have not been successful because this particular family really wanted to locate on a farm so that they could care for the farm. We did call several farm owners as well as the employment services to find out if there are any openings available. And thus far, we have not been successful this year as far as having them settle out of the migrant stream. We've had one or two in the Mobile-Baldwin County area to settle out, but they only stayed in the Alabama area for about 2 months, and then they relocated back to Florida.
What's going to happen to the migrant worker as progress keeps on trudging along?
Well, it seems as if the way mechanization now is taking place of the farm, the migrant worker really will have no place, will have no means of employment in the future if it continues to progress as it is now. What we're trying to do, at least curtail that by offering them some alternatives, such as vocational training, college assistance, or either on-the-job training or work experience that will lead into other alternates besides that of the migrant stream.